Welcome back. If it is joining us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television here in Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. The Federal Executive Council approves 1.6 billion naira as intervention fund for 16 states adversely affected by flood in the past few weeks. The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, returns from London, says the president is recuperating fast and should be back in the country anytime soon. The Supreme Court declares the Ahmed Mukafi faction as the authentic leadership of the People's Democratic Party. And Donald Trump's nominee to lead the FBI says a probe into an alleged Russian meddling into U.S. elections is not a witch hunt. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our websites channelstv.com and youtube.com/channelsweb. Log on to m.channelstv.com to view us live on your mobile device or download the Channels TV app for iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. The Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have access to the Eyewitness feature, with which you can share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. To some pictures that you sent it to our portal. Let's begin with this one. It's from Jos Plateau State, showing a dangerous U-turn by a bus driver, which our Eyewitness reporter says caused traffic which lasted about 2 hours. Coming from Igwelering in Lagos State is this picture showing a truck carrying a lorry of refuse. Beg your pardon. It looks like it's about to fall. Eyewitness reporter describes it as an accident waiting to happen and is worried about the nightmare it would cause. Staying with roads and accidents is this picture from Abanikoro bus stop in Lagos showing multiple accidents. According to Eyewitness reporter, it happened early this morning. Here's our final picture tonight, the image of a collapsed bridge from Onitsha, Anambra State. According to Eyewitness reporter, it was caused by a gully erosion and is appealing to the state government to fix this bridge. Thanks for sending in those pictures, and please keep them coming. Proceedings were stalled today in the appeal filed by the wife of former President Patience Jonathan, seeking to stop the forfeiture of over $5.7 million and 2.4 billion naira to the federal government. The case was stalled because one of the three-man panel of the appellate court says he was recusing himself from hearing the appeal for personal reasons. Justice John Ike, who presided over the appeal alongside Justices Abimbola Obaseki Adejumo and Abraham Georgeville, explained that the three judges were required to form quorum and did not say which of the justices were withdrawing from hearing the case. Counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Rotimi Oyedepo, has asked the court to consider hearing the appeal as early as possible, preferably during the annual court vacation. But the court observed that because it had not formed quorum and they could not grant his request. The case has been adjourned till September 18th, 2017. Staying with the course, the trial of a lawyer, Joseph Nwobike, continued today at the Lagos High Court sitting in Ikeja. Mr. Nwobike is standing trial on an 11-count charge bordering on perverting the course of justice and offering gratification to judges. The EFCC told the court that the two cases filed and argued by Mr. Nwobike before Justice Muhammad Yunusa of the Federal High Court led to the dismissal from the bench of Justice Yunusa by the National Judicial Council. In his defense, however, Mr. Nwobike told the court that he filed and argued the suits to prevent the EFCC from acting without lawful justification. The EFCC also detailed in court an exchange of text messages between a deputy registrar of the Federal High Court and Mr. Nwobike. The commission alleges that the SAN used the messages to influence the assignment of his cases before certain judges in the court. Mr. Nwobike admitted sending the messages, but denied that the intention was to influence the outcome of his cases. Presiding Justice Raliatu Adebiyi has adjourned till July 21st for further cross-examination. And here's Gloria Mezoke now in Abuja. She has more on the News at 10. Hi, Gloria.
Hello, Amarachi. Senate President Bukola Saraki has sworn in Ademola Adeleke as senator representing Osun West Senatorial District following his victory in last weekend's by-election. The swearing-in was done as the PDP caucus in the Senate is celebrating the Supreme Court's verdict, which finally settles months of legal battle for the soul and chairmanship of the party. Our correspondent, Linda Akigbe, reports.
The winner of Saturday's senatorial by-election, Mr. Ademola Adeleke, striding confidently into the Senate chamber. The Senate President swears him in, and all is set for him to resume as a senator following his victory at the Osun West senatorial by-election. He replaces the late Senator Isiaka Adeleke, who died in April this year. His swearing-in coincides with the Supreme Court verdict, which declared the Ahmed McCarthy Caretaker Committee of the opposition PDP as validly constituted. Immediately after the swearing-in, PDP senators broke out of plenary to speak to journalists about the Supreme Court verdict.
So just to let you know that the caucus is very delighted with what has occurred today. It wasn't unexpected in view of the fact that we believe strongly that the Supreme Court is a court of justice and that God is a God of justice and that justice was going to prevail. But on our part, we do not want to lose a single member, and so we are describing that victory as what we may say, no victor, no vanquish.
We shouldn't have gone this length in the first instance, but that has happened. And I hope and pray that we've learned some lessons from what has happened and never allow a family dispute to get to this level ever again. Amen. In the history of PDP. Once more, I would like to congratulate the judiciary because I think they've taken a very courageous decision in the face of all that is happening. And with this decision and this judgment now, the change is truly on course.
The PDP Senate caucus says it is extending the olive branch to Mr. Alimodu Sherif and his supporters to embrace peace and return to the party. Linda Akibi, Channels Television News.
The International Atomic Energy Agency is asking the federal government to formulate a national policy on safety that will protect Nigerians from the harmful effect of nuclear radiation. Well, speaking after a 10-day regulatory review meeting in Abuja, the director, Mr. Peter Johnson, says the agency is committed to using IAEA safety standards and international best practices to improve Nigeria's policy and regulatory infrastructure. The Director General of the Nigerian Nuclear Regulatory Agency, Professor Lawrence Dim, pledged that Nigeria will implement the recommendations of the agency.
The mission provided recommendations and suggestions for improvements, including 1. The government should establish a national policy on safety and ensure that the corresponding legal framework is in line with IAEA safety standards. 2. The government should ensure that the NNRA is effectively independent and is functionally separate from entities having responsibilities or interests that could influence the decision making. 3. The NNRA should carry out an analysis of all competencies needed to cover its responsibilities and develop and implement a human resource and training plan. 4. The regulatory body should ensure that all facilities and activities have a valid authorization and establish and implement an enforcement policy to respond to non-compliance. 5. The NNRA should consider formalising cooperation with other authorities having responsibilities related to safety.
The Buhari-led government has, from inception, made it clear that fighting corruption is a major part of its cardinal objectives. But 2 years down the line, some say corruption may be fighting back. Well, today in Lagos, some civil society groups, religious organizations, in collaboration with the United States Mission in Nigeria, have taken the war against graft to another level. They have launched an online website to help Nigerians report corruption cases. They call it Report Yourself. Well, our political correspondent, Seun Okimbaloye, reports.
Nigeria is said to be losing billions of naira to corruption every year. The perception of the country on the world stage in this regard is nothing to write home about. The sad feeling is not different for people in this room. The tales of public sector corruption is for them, they say, very disturbing.
What only 55 Nigerians have stolen in 7 years amounts to about 1.4 trillion naira.
But some Nigerians are as angry as much as they are sad about the corruption narrative in the country, and they are planning to wage war on the menace. And so, different civil society groups, the Nigerian police, religious organizations have teamed up to develop an online platform for citizens of Nigeria to report corruption cases. This is done in collaboration with the United States Diplomatic Mission to Nigeria.
But the Satan in Nigeria is about corruption, and we are here to actually manifest that statement and actually make that statement work for us by fighting against the Nigerian Satan.
Corruption is the pivot problem upon which other criminal tendencies and vices in the society thrive. And it is on us as religious leaders who meet the people every Sunday, every Friday, to speak against these demonic vices.
But I believe that Nigerians are ready, and through this amazing tool, you are equipped with the power to make a difference.
Corruption is fighting back. At least that is part of the impression we get in the current anti-graft war regime. Whatever the case is, citizens now have yet another power on their hands to make public officers accountable and perhaps change the debilitating culture of corruption in Nigeria. Seun Okimbaloye, reporting for Channels Television News.
When the news at 10 returns, Medview Airline increases its destinations within the country with an inaugural flight to Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. That's after the break. Please join us again.